Hey guys, for this week's video, I wanted to talk about the 6 core emotions. I've always had a tough time controlling my emotions or being able to handle my emotions. I had really, really high highs and had really, really low lows. And yeah, my youth was tough emotionally. Not like anything bad happened to me or anything. I just couldn't control my shit, honestly. So it took me a really long time to kind of understand this and understand what emotions are trying to tell you and what you can learn from those emotions. So I just kind of wanted to jump into each one and explain what we can learn from each one. So first one up is fear. So I think most people know fear, especially these days, like especially in the modern sense. Obviously, if you're in a life-threatening situation, you're not going to try to push into fear and grow from fear. But in like an anxiety sense, in a social sense, fear should be learned from, and you should lean into that fear. Perfect example is me making YouTube videos now. I am terrified of this. I don't like being in front of a camera, talking to the camera. I don't like it. It is not fun for me. But I think I can grow personally from it, and I think my business can grow from this. Emotion two is anger. I had the hardest time controlling my anger when I was a kid, even like young adult. But over time, I've kind of figured it out to control that emotion. It's such a powerful emotion, and it has so much energy is attached to it. But I think it's really, really important to use that energy and channel it in a good way. For the longest time, I would just blow up and freak out for the modern day crash out, if you will. That was me. I was a walking crash out when I was a kid. Anger will show you either an injustice in the world if you see something that really makes you angry or frustrated, or a result that you get that turns into anger. It's just telling you that this is a negative result or this is an injustice in the world, and you should do everything in your power to change those things. Right? Anger can compound. Right? Like you can build off of that anger, and then it turns into a crash out. You don't want to have the crash out aspect. You want to extract the learned lesson from that anger, take a couple deep breaths, chill out a little bit, and then try to go fix that thing that's making you angry. That's the most logical and best way to handle that emotion. Emotion three is surprise. So for me, surprise and fear have the same results. You should lean into surprise, because the things that go with surprise are like confusion, or excitement. You should lean into those feelings, and that's where creativity comes from. Confusion, you should try to learn from that. You should kind of play with that confusion a little bit, because creativity can grow out of that aspect. The next core emotion is happiness. I think happiness is kind of an easy one. We all want to be happy. I also think when you're happy, it's your body and your brain telling you that what you're going through right now is a meaningful experience. So that joy, that contentment, that feeling, that sense of peace, those are all things obviously that we want to obtain and feel all the time. Yeah, I think it's impossible to feel those emotions all the time. But the better that you can align yourself with happiness, I think the more meaningful your life will be. For me, sadness and empathy go hand in hand, right? I think that's the main purpose of us feeling sad, is because it helps us reflect and understand what others are going through, and gives us a better understanding of what we're going through as well. So I think the biggest advantage to sadness is it grounds you and it reminds you of the value of connection. The last core emotion is disgust. I actually think disgust is very important, especially in a social sense, because the feeling of disgust reflects your values. It's just telling you that if you see a social situation, or if you see someone else's actions that are giving you that feeling of disappointment or disapproval, it's just telling you that whatever they're doing or whatever they're reflecting, whatever they value, you want the exact opposite of that. And I think disgust is an important emotion to feel based off of your own reflection too. Like there are many times in my past, I think about past situations I was in or past things I've said to people that bring up that emotion of disgust. I think that's an important emotion to reflect on, because it's showing you this action or this thing that I did is not aligned with who I think I am as a person and what I want to become as a person. So it's really just it's a guide map for like, hey, you hated what you did in this situation. You're feeling this disgusting emotion because you know you're better than that. So act accordingly. Change how you would react in this situation in the future. I think that's what disgust teaches us. I'm gonna make another video kind of on emotion and philosophy and psychology, and base it off of Carl Jung. I think Carl Jung has really shaped what I think of the world and how I think about the world. And I think these core emotions come from his work, or at least were developed based off of his work. And it's really just saying that there is a negative and a positive to all of these emotions. And you really have to think about why you feel these things and what that's trying to tell you. Because once you understand that emotions are a tool, that's when it stops becoming a reaction, and you stop lashing out, and you stop acting in a way that the emotions control you, and you can learn from those emotions. That was the biggest thing for me. Is before I would feel an emotion, and then I would let that emotion dictate that next 5, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever. But now I can feel emotion, and I can reflect on it and then let it pass and learn from why I felt that way. I think that's super important. And if you're struggling with controlling your emotions, I think that's the biggest step to take, is learn to ask why. Like, why am I feeling this way? Or why did this situation make me feel this way? And then you can really learn more about yourself and then other people as well.